Hi and welcome to this section on what is the microservices architecture. It is very important for a student to understand what are the patterns, what is the design pattern for a microservices based architecture. So let's go on to our first video, which is the concept of microservices itself. So before we go on ahead, let's have a look at applications and how they were developed in the past. So these are known as monolith applications. So let's consider a simple e-commerce application. Let's say it has modules such as customer, orders, and products. Now, when you look at this sort of architecture, it's one whole single entity. So customers, orders, and products are all part of the application as a single entity. What are the problems with such monolith applications? First thing is that if you make one change, it could break the entire application. So if you make maybe a change to the customer module, it could break the application or to any of the other modules of the application. Sometimes applications need to be recompiled after changes, and this can be an issue. So if you even make the smallest change to one of the modules, you sometimes have to recompile the entire application. It also involves testing the entire application. You lose out on time, and this can add to the next problem, which it becomes difficult to add more and more features in an agile manner. Nowadays, customers expect features to be released as soon as possible onto applications. So there are just too many constraints for changes in such monolith applications. So now we come to microservices. We have the same concept, we have the same application. The only thing is that everything is now designed as a service and not a module. What are the advantages of such an architecture? Each service itself, so the orders, the products, all of them are developed as a separate entity on its own. You can make changes to each service without breaking the entire application. It's easy to add features in an agile manner because you are not breaking the application itself or testing it when you make a change to one of the services. You can add features to services in an agile manner. It's more flexible. So let's look at one of the design patterns. So let's say in our example, we have our customer service, our order service, and our product service. So each of them could connect to its own database backend. So you could have a separate customer DB, an orders DB, and a products DB. This is different when you compare it to a monolith application where the database would be one, and you probably have multiple tables for each of these modules. So you would probably have a different table for customer, for orders, and for products. But in a microservices based architecture, for each service, you have the ability to have a separate DB for each service. What are the advantages? Well, you could have different types of databases for each type of service depending upon the requirement. So maybe for the customer DB, you could have a document database, and for the orders and the products, you could have a relational database. This is the flexibility which comes when you design using the microservices pattern. So now let's go on to the next video. Let's look at more benefits and expand upon understanding the benefits of using microservices.